I'll time you and come back and get you in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
I am writing a paper on Beyonce for a class in English 1102. The first place I look for information is probably going to be the database on our KSU page. So I go to D2L Brightspace, I log in, and then since I'm writing a paper on Beyonce being an influence in feminism for the younger generation, I'll look up feminism in Super Search. And then I'll scroll down and click Scholarly Peer Review. And then I'll change the publication date to probably around 2011. First, I look for specific articles that usually have to do with what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for feminism, and I'm specifically talking about Beyonce. So maybe this article about Black feminism and integrated review of literature might help, but I'm not sure until I check the full PDF full text. So then I might look through here and see if there's anything that I could possibly use in my paper. Feminism is often seen by many as reflecting the needs of white women and or affluent women. For example, feminist movement of 1960s was when white women fought for the right to work outside of home and use their college degrees. African American women and working class women were working outside of home, so rights sought focused on working conditions, welfare, and safety. So I'll copy and paste one of the quotes that I think might help me in my paper. I go ahead and copy, and then I open up a Word document. Then I'll paste this quote first. Then I'll put in like Times New Roman, so I can already have it pretty much in the well, okay. I'm so not used to this computer. I'm used to a Mac. But I'll go ahead and put in Times New Roman into 12 font, and then I'll go back, I'll grab the citation from the library. So I'll press on the Cite button, and then I'll look for MLA because we use MLA in my class. And I'll copy and paste the MLA, knowing that it's probably going to be wrong for right now, but just in case. And I paste it. And then I will pretty much save this source just so I can keep the quote. And then I'll move on to the next one and see if I can still find something in the PDF, something else maybe. But for right now, I'll probably move on. And maybe I'll look up something about Beyonce. Now, I actually did use this Beyonce's formation. I know it says that even though it's a scholarly article, it's not actually a scholarly article. So, let me see. Because the library brings it up as a scholarly article, even though I've read it and it is not a scholarly article. So, it's actually an article done by a university student on Beyonce with not that many sources, and you can tell it's not a scholarly article because it has pictures, it doesn't have that many sources, and it seems to have come from some type of book. So I'll look through Beyonce's Formation by Kevin Ball. I'll find quotes that I like, because even though I know we're not supposed to take quotes just for supporting our opinion, it really actually helps me out picking quotes first that match my opinion before going out into heavier research and maybe picking out something that's just supporting like a little thing, like I talked about in my paper about the Black Panthers, because Beyonce dressed her dancers up as the Black Panthers, so I had to do research on that. And I usually hold that off until later on in the paper. So I'll go through, I'll read, and see if there's anything I can use in here. And then I'll look through. Maybe I'll pick up a quote or two. But for this one, I just read it through just to see if like I can have some background information about what I'm going to do, because I didn't really take any quotes from this when I actually did my research. So I'll go back, and then I'll open up a new tab and Google, because I don't use Bing. I find that Bing and Yahoo, things other than Google, are actually harder for me to use. So I'll look up Beyonce stance on feminism. There's a lot of articles from like Billboard magazine and Glamour, but I'll stick to Huffington Post or CNN for right now. I know they're probably biased as like a news station, but I'll still use them for a little bit of background information, not really for most of my paper, but for background information. So I keep up with my sources by pretty much copying and pasting whatever I choose. So if I were to click on pop stars like Beyonce leading conversations about feminism, I'll click on that and I'll copy and paste to save for later, because I'll do my citations at the very end. Citations are what I like to do at the end, so I don't have to really worry about doing my paper at the end, because honestly I'm a procrastinator, so that's terrible. Keep data from Google Chrome, I guess so. I don't know. Okay, so pop stars like Beyonce leading conversations about feminism. So not used to this Mac. Okay, so I'll read through this and see if there is something that might catch my eye. Not necessarily has to go in the paper, but maybe serve as more background information. While Hooks offered numerous positive statements about the album, she also raised serious concerns about Beyonce's ideas regarding gender equality and feminism. So maybe I'll take this quote. I'll post it under this HuffingtonPost.com. And I'll highlight actually what I have to go back to before moving on. I'll read through more of it. And then I'll probably leave after reading this and go to another website or look for something else in the library system database for KSU Super Search. So I looked up Beyonce, maybe I'll look up, and I looked up feminism, so maybe I'll look up like Black feminism, specifically because it is Beyonce. She's African American and feminism, so I'll look up that. Black feminism. Make sure that I put on scholarly peer-reviewed journals available in the library collection. And if I see something and it doesn't look like a scholarly source, I'll still probably, maybe if I take a quote from there, I'll still add it in my paper, knowing that it's not a scholarly source. But I do look for scholarly sources. I'm going to be quite honest. I look for scholarly sources that fill the requirement. So if it says that I need 4 scholarly sources, I'll find 4 scholarly sources. Usually I don't go over, especially when it's really hard to find scholarly sources on my topic. So usually I do not go over. But I'm looking, and yeah, there really isn't much on Beyonce in here, which is understandable because she's really trendy. I'm going back to researching Beyonce on the KSU Super Search. And it's at this point where I might change my topic from Beyonce and feminism because it's so closed and it's hard to move around it. So I might like add something like maybe Beyonce and like race and feminism. I'll start talking about race and feminism, and then I'll change my thesis statement to fit that, because I'd rather change my thesis statement than be stuck. So now that I get to talk about Beyonce and feminism and race, I can type in a new tab, go to Beyonce's Super Bowl, because maybe I'll want to talk about her choice of dress in the Super Bowl, because I heard that she dressed like the Black Panthers. So I'm going to type that in.
We're done.
Okay.
Did it get by quickly? A lot of students say, "Oh, it went by
Yeah.
so quickly."
I don't know if I was much help, but
Anything you did will be helpful to me.
Okay.
I promise. Yep, it'll be great. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.